Chapter 15: The Millionaire's Solution to Investing in a Person. To quote Ultron, finance is so weird. I'm sorry, I'm about to explain finance to you. I'll try and make it as short as possible. Every business has at least one project. Some have many projects. A lemonade stand is a one-project business. Google has projects for their Google car, Google Glass, search engine, and many more. Each project has its budget for how much it can pay out for materials, overhead, and personnel. A financial analyst will budget for these items and check to see if that project is returning a net profit. It's okay not to make a profit sometimes. Maybe you're researching and developing a new search engine. You have to pour time and money into that. Profits come later. However, if no growth potential is forecasted and there are no current profits, then a project will typically be scrapped. As a person holding a finance degree, I admit that you don't need a finance degree to do all of that. You just need to know how to do basic math, plan a little bit, and a little knowledge of accounting practices can help. In a nutshell, a financial analyst asks the question, how can I allocate capital in a way that benefits my employer the most? In this case, benefit pretty much always means makes money for. What if we are analyzing an investment in a person rather than a project? How do we allocate capital to get a return on our initial investment? A part of the answer lies within a study done on millionaires. Millionaires Next Door was written and researched by Thomas Stanley and William Danko. It's well worth a read. Results showed that more often than not, you wouldn't be able to tell that a household held a millionaire status because they don't let it show. Millionaires tend to live well below their means. They don't go out and buy fancy new cars every year. That same sense of fiscal responsibility that millionaires exhibit is most likely a contributing factor to what got them to be millionaires in the first place. One of the most striking results from the study was how millionaires treated their children. A quote from the book is quite succinct on the matter. Quote, "The more dollars adult children receive, the fewer dollars they accumulate, while those who are given fewer dollars accumulate more." End quote. In fact, it could be said that the children had a somewhat neurotic desire for their parents to die so they could have access to the money. Family disputes of inheritance details were common in these situations. Some of the rules that millionaires followed to have financially independent children are numerous. They would never tell the child that they are wealthy. They would teach their children discipline and frugality no matter how well-to-do they were. They wouldn't talk about what the child will inherit. They would remind their children that there are more important things in life than money. Quite possibly, the biggest takeaway from their research has to do with what successful children received from their parents in terms of monetary compensation. All healthcare and education expenses were provided for. They didn't have cars bought for them or random cash gifts handed out to them. Why is healthcare and education something that is okay to hand someone? In these cases, you are empowering someone. You're giving them options. Being healthy and well-informed allows you to do more than you could have otherwise. A Mercedes doesn't empower you. All you really need is something to get you from point A to point B. If you want the status, you have to work for it. If you provide in any other way, you weaken the individual. Someone who knows they are going to get everything tends to do nothing to help themselves. They don't work on themselves because they don't have to. Think about what that really means about truly loving your child, or anyone else for that matter. Having the mentality to give someone everything they want is actually hazardous. Reckless love can undermine the well-being of the subject of our affections. I believe our culture is in the midst of confusion on how to properly balance doing for others without knowing the long-term consequences. Discipline has its place. Then again, leading a life of discipline is not the path of least resistance. There is a very good reason why you will most likely follow the path of least resistance.